Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My name is Tanek127, and welcome back to Tanek FPS. And guys, if y'all want to stay up to date on all things Fragpunk, especially Fragpunk console, make sure you are liking today's video, subscribing to the channel if you are new, and let's go ahead and get right on into today's topic. And first and foremost, do y'all see how heavy that aim assist is? Oh, we controller players, we about to be eating good. You PC boys in trouble. Oh no. But anyway, what I want to do today is give you guys another recommended settings video for Fragpunk because a lot of things have changed since the beta. I made a video on this during the Fragpunk beta last year, and it helped, but a lot of stuff has changed, and it's honestly a lot more simplified. So therefore, this video will be shorter. There's just a few simple things in here I recommend that I want to go over with you guys real quick. So first and foremost, in the general section, the first thing I want you to take care of is I want you to make a custom crosshair. That's going to be your most important thing. A lot of these features here in this area, a lot of this stuff is preference and just on to you. The few things I would turn off are camera shake during sprint because you don't want anything impacting your vision or shaking the screen during a shooter. You want your visuals as clear as possible. Paint road guide, that's up to you. It just tells you, where the sights are and how to get around and stuff like that. I wouldn't really worry about that. I would say keep it on until you know the maps, but honestly just turn it off. Minimap size, minimap zoom, all that stuff. That's all, preference. But one big thing I want you to do, especially in this game because of how colorful it is and stuff like that, I want you to do a custom crosshair. I want you to change your crosshair color, and I'm going to show you guys why. Alright? Okay, first thing first, I always recommend to people make your crosshairs your favorite color because that'll help your accuracy. It's scientifically proven that our eyes naturally go towards things we're attracted to, like a nice car, like a pretty girl. My guys out there, let me ask you something. If you see a woman, right, and she's wearing lingerie, yeah, you're going to look at her. But how fast would your head turn if she was wearing lingerie in your favorite color? My point exactly. Or if you see your dream car, your head's going to turn, you'll see it. But what if you see it in your favorite color? You'll be attracted to it even more. Same thing with your accuracy in a shooter. But the one thing I want you guys to pay attention to is I want you to aim for like brighter colors like cyan and stuff like that. Now cyan, my favorite color is blue, so that's why I go with cyan. But look how much the cyan crosshair stands out against the backgrounds dark, medium, and bright when you look here at this picture. Yeah, so the crosshair standing out like that, for good visual clarity and aim is a really good thing. So, second thing here, controller settings, again, these are all up to you. I personally like how it is. One thing I would probably recommend, maybe especially, for a lot of you guys that play tactical shooters more often, you might want to switch your crouching to the right stick instead of, using B. That can make things a lot easier for you. You can aim and crouch using the same button instead of having to take your thumb off of the joystick just to crouch, but that's completely up to you, preference thing. Some people use it like that in Call of Duty, just fine. So another thing I want to go over here in the settings, in the controller settings again, is a lot of this stuff, sensitivity and everything, all preference. Me personally, I bumped my sensitivity up to a 0.9, and that's working for me right now. I'm going to gradually go higher as I get used to it, so I can aim a bit faster. But you're probably going to ask yourself, where are the response curves at for this game? Well, they're actually right here at the view input curve, and I'm going to explain to you guys how this works. So basically, when it says to you, adjust the simulation processing curve for the controller input. The larger the value of the input curve, the lower the sensitivity when the stick is pushed slightly. So basically, the higher you make this, the slower your sensitivity is going to get. The lower you make this, it's going to go, the faster your sensitivity is going to get. So for example, if you want to use a response curve that's like linear, that's super sensitive kind, you want to lower this value and find one that feels to you. If you want to use something that's more like standard or dynamic, you want to higher this number value. Okay, so that's all you got to do. If you want linear, do a lower number, push over to the left. If you want standard or dynamic or something similar to those things, push over to the right and just test yourself out in the shooting range and see how it feels. That's all you guys gotta do when it comes to response curve. I know that's probably a bit confusing, but I just want to put it in a way that'll make it as easy as possible for people. Now, video settings, as you guys can see, one thing I do want to point out here is even the console version runs at an excessively high frame rate. If you guys look, I'm actually playing on Xbox Series X right now, no BS. Here's my Xbox menu. Look up there, you guys will see my game is running at almost 260 FPS on console. Yeah, that's pretty high. One thing I would honestly recommend you doing to avoid frame drops is because these consoles aren't built to run at frame limits that high. I would limit yourself to 120 or 140, 44, you know, just to be on the cautious side to, you know, to reduce any type of frame drops. But one other thing I also recommend doing is turning your sharpen up, because the blurred edged visuals, especially on, you know, the other characters and things in the environment, again, you know, that can throw you off the hitbox and stuff like that. You want a picture as clear as possible, okay? That's one thing you want to do. Visual simplification, that's completely up to you. I like, you know, seeing the pretty environments and stuff like that. Just put on, for quality presets, just put on prioritize frame rate at the end of the day. One other thing that I should have mentioned here that I also want you guys to do, turn off like certain special effects, like the lens flares and stuff like that in your guns. Anything that's going to impact your vision, turn that off. I can't remember if it's here in video or general, but there's a place where it asks you like about the visual lens flares and stuff in your guns, in your gun sight and stuff like that. Make sure you guys turn those things off. They're not going to give you any type of gameplay advantage whatsoever. Now, audio, there's two things in here I want you to change. Two very simple things. Number one, when you first come into the game, you guys are going to also probably notice that my master volume's down. That's just so the game's not loud so I can record this video. I'm going to turn that back up when this video is being recorded. But I want you to turn your character voices up. You're going to notice these are down to like 40 or 45 when you get in the game. Turn those up, because the game characters make call-outs that sometimes your teammates may miss or you may not hear. Like, let's say, you know, you got a guy in mid and you're heading over there, and your buddy that you're playing with, he forgets to call out the guy in mid. Well, one of the characters in the game might do it for you. So keep your character voices nice and high where you can hear them. Another thing also for voice chat input, especially if you're playing on controller, set it to open mic. You do not want to do push to talk on controller. That is another button you got to press when you are worried about playing a shooter. PC players, you know, that's fine. You know, it's easier for them, but push to talk on a controller, nah, son, nah. But anyway, guys, that is going to go ahead and wrap it up for my recommended settings. The introduction should, you know, show you that the settings I use do work pretty well for me. They're not going to be for everybody. I know everyone's going to have their own preferences and stuff like that. Y'all enjoyed today's video? Smash that like. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out. Have a good one.